I got you stuck off the realness. I got you stuck off the realness. I got you stuck off the realness.
I'm programmed with essential 21st century smack talk. Your mother
is fond of Brainiac.
Hey Jack, players are ready. Are we ready to post community messaging?
So let's just get into it.
Hello everyone, welcome to another DC Universe online live stream. I am Meps, your community manager, and this is Jackster, your studio CEO.
Hey everybody!
Today we're going to expose the fate of DC Universe Online and the future. You are not going to hear this information from other YouTube channels because one, the EG7 presentation was 3 hours long and very, very boring. And also, if the YouTube channel that you're watching is promoting DC Universe Online, well, most of this information is not positive to the game or anything that's going to come to the future, right?
That's right, I can't wait to reveal this to everybody.
Okay, so now let me bring up the first slide for the presentation. It's right here.
Yeah, it's right here, so go ahead and shoot and I'll take over from here. So, okay everybody, so before we can show you our business models, which actually is used to benefit the investors of the company, we're gonna have to show you the history of DC Universe Online and how Daybreak Company was a fail from the start.
Bruh.
So right here on the first slide, you're going to see the history of Daybreak Games. It used to be owned by Sony, then sold, but don't take it from me. Let's listen to my boss and CEO.
But the first one here is Daybreak, acquisition from Sony. We acquired it beginning of 2015. The underwriting for it was super simple. We're business guys, finance guys. I like to play games, but at the same time, my focus and expertise is really on the business front and operational front.
Alright, sorry. I have to stop that for 1 second and give a rebuttal because this guy does not play any video games. I'm telling you that right now. He is all business, money, profit.
So looking at the business, Sony wanted to divest this asset because it's not core to them. They make PC online games. Sony makes their money from PlayStation, which is console. So ultimately they decided to sell it, but broken business. They lost over $400 million over 7 years. Significant accumulated losses. When we bought the business, they were losing about $30 million a year.
Bruh.
So what you see here is that Daybreak Game Company and DC Universe Online was actually failing from the start, and Sony was losing a lot of money from it. So they had to sell the company, otherwise the game was just gonna get shut down. So the first time it was bought up, my CEO here came into the company and started fixing it from the get-go. If you don't believe me, let's hear it from him.
We went in 30 days. Lots of big changes, because we like to operate quite decisively when there's changes that need to be made. Got it to profitability within the month, and then we ended the year significantly profitable, from $32 million of net loss the year before to $12 million profit in the year after, 12 months later.
So now that you know a brief history of how Daybreak Day Company was sold from Sony to EG7 and then forth, now we can get to the nitty gritty, itty bitty titty confetti ditty bitty of the business model solution.
So now that EG7 owns Daybreak, what they did, they put DC Universe Online and a bunch of other games like EverQuest, PlanetSide, H1Z1, a bunch of games. They put them all in a monopoly pool with investors to invest in them so that they gain profits in the future for the investors.
And globally recognized IPs. So that's one of the key selling points, for EG7. We have number of first-party owned IP that we believe are highly valuable and can be utilized further for additional titles.
EverQuest being at the top of the list together with My Singing Monsters. EverQuest PC console feature as well as My Singing Monsters more continuing to be on mobile. And we have H1Z1 which generated over 200 million of revenues over 3 years when the game first came out. And that we get to evaluate for further opportunities going forward. And you got Planetside 2, which still remains today as the only massively multiplayer online first-person shooter that's out there. Third-party major IP, we have some relationships with top
license owners. We got Warner Brothers with DC Universe. We have Hasbro / Wizards of the Coast.
Magic the Gathering. We have Lord of the Rings Online, which now is owned by Embracer IP. And then you got Dungeons and Dragons also, with the Wizards of the Coast and Hasbro. And then MechWarrior, owned by Microsoft, that we continue to make products for.
Hee hee, Shimon. So for our next slide here, you're gonna see that EG7 has a business model for the future of DC Universe Online in all these games. In this slide, you're going to see how they're going to take the existing live games, opting to limit investments in existing live games and prioritize new growth, allegedly.
And then existing live games will be maintained with investments necessary. We're not pulling money out, okay? We're going to invest as necessary to continue to prolong. Like EverQuest will be here like a decade later. And I would not be surprised if it's still where it is today. And we want to make sure that that continues to be. But when I say no major investment, what I talked about earlier, like we're not going to remaster like DC Universe Online. We stepped away from that idea.
So we're not making this up. You just heard the CEO of EG7 and Daybreak tell you that they are not going to put any money into DC Universe Online to remaster it. Yes, we're gonna get an upgrade for PS5 and Xbox, but it's just gonna be a bare minimum upgrade. It's just gonna be bumped up to 4K. There's no really enhancements to the graphics or any of that stuff. In this chart, you will see collectively that DC Universe Online and all of those other games like EverQuest and Lord of the Rings and all this other stuff, all together it brings in roughly about $8,000 a month collectively.
Top line chart right there with a high volatility, that's DC Universe Online. So DC Universe Online is the biggest game that Daybreak currently operates. Because it's on multiple platforms, but it's also the most volatile, and of all the games that we have, that is the most casual among the bunch. So more casual games tend to be more volatile. You see a lot more inflow of new players coming in, but they're not as sticky either.
So you see, they're just going to use all of those games together to make profits to pay off the investors. They're going to take those profits and also fund other projects like brand new video games. And then they're going to take some of that money and only put a little bit back into the current games that you've seen there in that chart, like DC Universe and all those other ones, allegedly. So in this chart, you're going to see all the games that they're developing: MechWarrior, H1Z1, EverQuest. Ain't nobody asked for EverQuest 3, but they're still going to make it. You see, these CEOs and investors, they're ignorant.
More like, yeah, we have money, let's make games. And that's not how you create successful outcome in games business. And then also, prioritizing that financial strength. And then we're trying to set up our business for the next step. So actions taken, shut down a bunch of stuff: Minimal Effect, Block and Load 2, IGI, and 83, and Marvel, a big one there. Difficult one, but nonetheless the right choice.
You cannot make this stuff up. You just heard our CEO from EG7 and Daybreak tell us that they canceled Marvel Universe Online for all of those other games like EverQuest, H1Z1, and MechWarrior. So if you are still, after hearing all of this information, and you're still spending your hard-earned money on all of these games, especially DC Universe Online, knowing all this information, I'm sorry, but please
stop it. Get some help.
I got you stuck off the realness. I got you stuck off the realness. I got you stuck off the realness.